Welcome to the Real Mom Hub, where we celebrate the beautiful, profound transformation into motherhood.
It's a journey that shatters and rebuilds us in incredible ways. We share the voices of everyday moms in the trenches, honing and discovering their natural instincts and superpowers.
We air out the hard parts of parenting people don't like to talk about. Because matrescence leaves no one unscathed, and let's be honest, it's as hard as it is joyful.
So why not embrace it? Lean into the growth, the struggle, the magic. This is your opportunity for complete and utter personal transformation.
We're so glad you're here. Hi, she's back.
She's back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry. My sister-in-law just sent me a photo of Alana with my cousin. She's doing great.
Okay.
She just said, really doesn't get cuter than this, and they're all cheesing, so they're doing great.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Emily, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Your little one's having cousin time?
Yeah, my sister-in-law is watching them, but she has 3 girls and a 4th on the way. So, yeah.
Tell me about your baby. How old is she?
What's your life?
What's your life? What's a normal weekday for you?
So my daughter, Alana, is 9 months old. Almost 9 months, 8.5 months. I'm already aging her up, which is horrible. What? She got her first tooth this past weekend. And so now I'm like, you're just
cute.
old. You're old.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
That's a big deal.
My husband is a gastroenterologist, so he works super long hours. So I'm mostly the one up overnight or in the morning when she wakes up, we start the day. She often wakes up when dad's getting ready for work, which is great. So either when it works out, he'll kind of watch her and get ready with her for the day. And then I run downstairs and try to get a quick workout in before he heads out the door. And then Alana kind of just finishes the workout with me, which has been great. I've done that since day one and it's saved me. The girl is she's very content sitting in her stroller in the gym with me for up to an hour usually. So that's been really good for my mental health and physical health because I really enjoy working out. So we always start the day usually that way, and then she takes 2 naps now. So we have a nap in the morning, and then I always make sure we get out at least once a day because her and I suffer if we don't. I can't. I'm not a mom that. I'm an introvert, but I'm not a mom that can stay in my house. I just get so cooped up. So
because you're on all the time. I mean, it's basically you. And if when Vance takes over, it seems like it's a surprise. You can't even plan that time.
Even when he's there, on a weekday, I'm on 24/7. He's there, and it's amazing when we can co-parent when he gets home from work and we can share some of that responsibility, or when he gets home and needs to take a shower or something, I just plop Alana right in front of the shower in front of him, and I go in the kitchen and just do something for 5 minutes by myself just to recharge. But even when he gets home, he has 2 to 3 hours of work waiting for him every night. So there's just not much he can do to help. It's not that he's being lazy or anything as a dad. It's killing him inside not to be able to be more a part of her life. But yeah, mostly on all the time. On the weekends though, he is really good at trying to work with me to figure out where can I give you a break. But it's hard because I don't see him much, so I don't really want to leave and go do those things without him and her. I want that time together. So we're working on it. We're finding the right balance, but it's definitely a journey.
Probably work in progress for forever and ever. Amen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I feel like we just dove right in, but really I should have started this off asking you, was there an experience that really shook you to your core as a new mom?
Honestly, as a new mom, nothing. My experience that really shook me happened before I was pregnant.
Ooh, say more.
I loved my previous job. I was a project manager for a software company. And prior to being a project manager, I was a product manager, which I won't get into the nuances of that. But that role was really demanding. Like I was working crazy hours in the product manager role. And it was one of those, like, I wanted that role so badly. I had worked for like years to try to earn that role. I got it. And then I got in the role. It took me a long time to realize, but it wasn't the right fit for my skills. Like, and I just refused to accept that. And so months went by when I was like burning out, and we were still living in New Orleans at the time. So
fun.
Yeah, it was my husband did his fellowship there for 3 years, and highly recommend. Like
I've never been.
that.
Very high on my list.
If you ever go, just text me and I'll send you every food place. I miss it.
That's
it's amazing.
All I want. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a window where I was working crazy hours. There was like a 4-month stretch of every other weekend I was flying somewhere or out of town. We had already been trying to get pregnant for 6 months at that point, and it wasn't working. And so that was really weighing on me. And then I was just like working myself into the ground essentially. And so, and this was like, and we moved during that time. So during that period, we were also moving from New Orleans to Wisconsin. And so that was really tough. And right before that move, my boss came to me and said, like, we need to move you out of this role. Like, this is not a great fit for you and what the organization needs at this time. And I took that really personally. Like, it destroyed me for a good week or two, where I was just like, I'm a failure. This is awful. Like, I'm never going to be successful in a career ever again. Like, if I can't do this, why am I even trying? Like, really spiraling really fast. And I was very blessed to have a boss who's like super good on like the emotional intelligence scale. And so she would call me and be like, you need to trust me. This is awful. I know this is awful. This doesn't define your worth, but I just was letting it define who I was, that role and that title. A week or two later, they got me into the new role, and I was starting to that was the product manager role. And I was starting to see what she was talking about of like, oh yeah, this is way easier. Like, I'm actually being way more effective. I'm helping the bottom line way more. And I'm like putting in half the effort I was before, because that type of role is more intuitive to me and the skills that I have. And so after like a few weeks, this is in the end of summer, I finally got my groove, and I also woke up. I talked to a bunch of family and friends, and I'm like, okay, that was dramatic. My response to like moving out of that role into the next one was highly dramatic. Like, this is not at all defining who I am as a person. Like, very much had like a prayerful moment of like, I need to reset my life. Like, this is really bad. Like, if I'm transitioning from one position to another and having this type of response, this is bad. That should not shake me and destroy me in the way that it did. And so it was the month of October, and I just had this crazy sense of like peace. And I don't know how to describe it, but I had finally accepted like the new position that I was in. I was feeling like really good in that role. I was spending time with family. We were settled in Wisconsin, and I just felt not stressed and peaceful for like the first time in probably a year.
Wow. And
my friend at one point that month called me and was like, "Ange, you're pregnant. Tell me you're pregnant." And I was like, "Excuse me?"
What?
Yeah, my best friend from high school, Amy, she's like, "I just had a dream. Like, you're going to be pregnant this month." And I'm like, "Okay, Amy, sure. Yeah. Like, that's whatever." Yeah. Well, we had been trying for almost a year at that point. I had all these appointments lined up in Madison to see, is there something wrong with my anatomy and stuff? And I was like, "Okay, Amy, I'll keep you posted. I'll know in a week or two." And then it's the day before, I'm supposed to get my period, and I'm pretty regular. So I like knew it was coming. We had put an offer on a house, like our dream property, the day before that. So I'm like panicking about the offer we put on this property. It's the day before my period, and I'm sitting in the living room, and I have this wild, like overcoming feeling that I had to pray the rosary, which I never had in my life. Like I don't pray the rosary regularly, like it, but I was sitting there and I just can't explain. I was like, I have to pray the rosary right now. Like where's my rosary? I need to pray the rosary.
Quick, dig it out.
Yeah. And so I did. I didn't even tell Vance, my husband. I just like left. I went into the bedroom. I like prayed the rosary. And then that night I didn't sleep a minute. I just kept hearing like, trust in me. And so every time I would like come in and out of sleep, I'd be like, Jesus, I trust in you. Like, and that's all I could say. I just kept saying it over and over again. And then the very next day I got a positive pregnancy test.
Whoa.
And it was just so full circle that month of like clearly through all the strife, through all the craziness, through the moving, through like God was working, like he was working on something and a better plan that I didn't know anything about. And to have those like very clear signs though was, I've never had that experience in my life to like feel his presence like that, or like feel that spiritually somebody was like guiding me in something that I had been praying for so many years. And that really reset me, like in terms of like what I thought about my career and like what's important in life and what I want to focus on. And so that was, yeah, probably one of the most monumental like experiences I've ever had.
Right at the beginning.
Believe-
just totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you haven't.
And your
even...
friend called it. I'm still not over that.
I know. I did. She was like one of the first people I called, and I was like, "You're right. She's like, "What do you mean you're right?" It was. I still can't believe it, but.
Have you always wanted to be a mom, or did you grow into that later?
No, I'd say I've always wanted to be a mom. Like when I got into like high school, college, when I'd be asked like, what is your dream job? Being a mom was always my dream job. And it was funny because in my actions, I don't know that anybody would have predicted that. Like I was very much a like, I need to get straight. I'm a perfectionist. So like, was always trying to get straight A's, like in college, like doing extracurriculars and building up my resume and like studying as hard as I could, and went to get my master's degree. And like in my every job that I had, I was always like focused on the next goal, the next promotion, the next, thing that I could learn. And so I think that's why the buildup and the transition from that one role to the other made me crash so hard, because I was always like, I would work really hard and get the next thing, and I'd work really hard and get the next thing. And that was the first time where it didn't happen the way I thought it would or aligned. And so that's where the crash came. But in the back of my head, I always knew the goal was to be a mom, to get married and to have lots of kids. And it's funny, I was reflecting on this with my best friend from college. We were random roommates. And we walked into the room when we first met each other, and we were like, oh no, this is not going to work. Like it was like we saw in each other's faces like, ooh, but she ended up being the maid of honor in my wedding. Like she's flying out to visit me tomorrow. She's just a phenomenal human. But I vividly remember one day on campus in undergrad, we were walking up this like massive hill. We're just talking about whatever. And she is also very career focused. She's a physician. So she was talking about like, oh, like I'm going to do this. And like, I can't wait to be a psychiatrist and like work on these things and like all these goals and aspirations. She's like, what are you thinking about doing when you get out of college? And I was like, I'm going to be a mom. And she like laughed at me like in a loving way, but she was like, okay, yeah, but like, really, what do you want to do? And I'm like, no, I just want to be a wife and a mom. Like that is my end game. That is the thing like that I want most. I recently, when I visited back home, shortly after Alana was born, it was the first time she met Alana, and she's holding her, and she turned and looked at me and was like, dude, like, you did it. Yeah. And I was like, what? And she was like, you did it. Like, everything you said in college you wanted to do, you wanted to be, like, you already did it. Like, it's here. And I was like, oh shoot, you're right. Like,
so like, now what, right?
Yeah, like, yeah. I know. I don't know.
Have you had trouble?
More babies?
Just keep ticking them off. Emily and I have talked about like not having measurables.
Oh God.
When you're a mom.
Yeah. Well, specifically when you're a mom who like a large percentage of your time is spent away from a professional pursuit.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like you came from a type of profession where that's huge. Like, I was a teacher. There's not as, like, the measurables are a little more wishy-washy, but yours, I mean, that was your whole job. Have you had trouble transitioning out of that? Or, like, do you have certain measurables in place for yourself now, like, day to day?
No, I'm definitely still a type A ambitious person. I think I've just chosen different things to be my goals. So, like, sourdough is one of those things where I'm like, I've been wanting to try this for years, so I'm going to learn how to make sourdough. And so, like, my schedule needs to be a full person, and things come and go, whether it's like, I don't know, like when tax season comes in, like, that's my next goal. Like, I handle all the financials and the taxes and stuff because my husband works so much, or like things need to get done at the property that we own and we need to like renovate part of the house that we're trying to sell. Like, okay, I'm the one coordinating that and showing up and doing all the research. And so I just find things day to day to fill my goals. They're a lot less, I guess, ambitious than the next promotion for sure, because it's like, oh, I'm going to make sourdough soft pretzels this weekend to try something new. But definitely always, trying to find something to keep me busy. It's like fun for me because I miss work. Like, I really enjoyed my job. So having some of those things that I can do and like pull out my laptop and actually get some things done is really fun. I genuinely miss having a job. So it kind of fills that cup in an odd way, I guess.
I want to put a pin in that because I have more questions about you missing work. But I want to circle back to something you said in the beginning. You were talking about your workouts because we're talking about metrics right now or measurables. And you're like, yeah. From day one, this has been our routine. Like, I go down to the gym. What do you mean by day one? Like, tell me what. Let's go back to the postpartum period. Yeah. I have some questions.
So day one was day like 40. I did a good job of like, I like read, what is it? The First 40 Days. Have you guys heard of that book?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. Highly recommend.
I'll link it.
It really goes over like how important that the first 40 days after having your child are in terms of like healing, and how your only job during that time is to take care of your child. Like, it is not to do the laundry. It is not to cook for yourself. It is to take care of your child and take care of yourself. And so it was hard, but I did wait all of that time before getting back into the gym. And then I slowly just started. Weightlifting is really what I enjoy doing, and I like the results of this. So I slowly worked myself back up. Which was hard. That was hard during pregnancy and postpartum because you just can't do the things you used to do. And I lost a lot of muscle mass despite working out my entire pregnancy. Like, there's only so much you can do. But yeah, postpartum, I've just kind of worked myself back up. My biggest regret, though, is not doing pelvic floor therapy with the weight training. I only just started going. It was like over 6 months after Alana was born did I just be like, I need to go see a pelvic floor therapist. And that wasn't the only issue. Like, oh, you guys talk about this on here. Like, sex was really painful. Like, I was having pains in the gym. And so that has been monumental in my recovery. Like, since going, like, my diastasis recti, that was the issue for most of my pains in the gym. And my back pain was because of the diastasis recti. And within 2 months, like, the lady I've been seeing has been able to get rid of it, which is amazing. And I already can tell a difference. Like, yeah, so I've just been slowly working myself back up in terms of the weight training after that 40-day mark.
We need to talk about the PT because I am like honestly just so offended and horrified that it is not part of our automatic care.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it took me over 6 months and it was to go in and like sex was so painful. I knew it was impossible. It wasn't like, oh, this is uncomfortable. It was like complete barrier to entry. But like it was,
that's where
I'm like, this is going to wreck my marriage. Like, I don't know how to work on this myself. Like I've worked on we've been very active in working on our marriage, our relationship, communication skills in the bedroom. Like that, we love that stuff. But I was like, I can't solve for this at all. Like I have no idea where to start.
Make it feel like it's not ripping apart.
Yes. No,
like
actually.
That burn. Like, how do you even describe that?
Wait, you had this experience too?
Yeah. After Charlie, not after Nora.
After your story, I need to share that my PT, we talked a lot about just triggers and the way your brain controls your muscle response in ways that we don't know. So for any woman listening who is having pain during
don't
sex,
listen to Callie.
Do not listen to Callie. Before or after labor, I mean, if you integrate those pain signals and you connect them to penetration, it's only going to harm you in the future, according to my PT. So, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, because the way they described it to me is like your body just went through like trauma by birthing the child, and so anything that comes near it is, and it's especially prominent after your first child because that's the first time. So as soon as like anything comes near there, everything like contracts down there to be like, nope, we're not letting you like open us up again. Like, this is terrible. That was horrible. Nope. And then you're like deep breathing as you're like, telling your significant other, like, wait a second.
Yes.
You're like trying to like take deep breaths in. But that was the one of the major tips I got too, is like, okay, you need to like be ready. So you know, do all that stuff to make you relax. But then you have to like physically think about like relaxing your pelvic floor before.
So my totally non-medical advice, the way that we actually got over this, maybe I'll cut it out. I like knew it was mostly a mental thing. And so
how do you classify that for you? Like, you're not a professional.
Because I could feel how tense I was. Like I was nervous. I wanted to have sex. Like I wanted that.
But you knew the pain was coming.
As soon as that was coming, I could feel my whole body like, ugh. And so definitely Kevin liquored me up one night. Like,
what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Kevin liquored you up.
Like 2 or 3 shots of tequila, which for me right now is liquored up. Like, and then he gave me a very.
I was thinking lacquered when she said
no.
liquored.
Like I had tequila.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, what did you use?
And then he gave me a very long back rub.
Okay.
And I wasn't actually wasted. It was probably 1 shot of tequila, let's be honest, because I do remember.
Get your stories straight, O'Leary.
I do, but I think it was involved. And then I remembered like doing some deep breathing and like really trying. And that was like the first time we'd had not painful sex since having Charlie.
Oh.
And so then I like knew my body could do it. So then it definitely took us like a while. It's not like it was like pain-free after that. But it was definitely like I knew that I could get to that place. And then after Nora, it was fine. But I didn't tear with Nora. Did you tear, Angela, with Alana? Oh, you didn't either, Emily, because you ended up,
Had a cesarean. So as your sister, I'm really grateful to know these details about your life. Thank you for sharing. I want to go back to our experience of like professional help, because I think that's what women deserve. You deserved it. All women deserve it.
Yeah.
And because I've
Take it
realized,
up with insurance.
I know. Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. I've realized since going through it, it's not common. Women don't talk about it. I think it's a point of fear, or there's some trepidation going into it. So I'm curious, Angela, if you could just share a little bit about what helps you most in your appointments with as little or as much detail as you want. Like, for example, for me, obviously there was a lot of internal work that she was doing on me every time that physically did a lot of good for my muscles. Another thing that was super, super helpful is we did a lot of fascial work. So that's the membrane that I don't even know if it's a membrane. It encases basically all of your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And we've learned, I think it is connected to your brain. So even if you're working at your muscles or you're stretching them or whatever, that doesn't mean that you are stretching the fascia in your body as well. And so for me, that was connected to my scar tissue. And that was something that a professional had to get in there and do. She also gave me some exercises to try outside the office, which were helpful.
Yeah.
So that's just a little laundry list of what was helpful for me, like what another woman could expect were she to pursue pelvic floor PT.
Mine was mostly the exercises, like the format of our meetings, where the first meeting we had together, she'd measure how far my diastasis recti was. I was finding YouTube videos of like postpartum ab exercises to do for diastasis recti, and I was doing them, but some of the exercises would give me pains even though they were very basic exercises. And so I went to her and I explained, like, I know this is giving me pain, so I stop when it happens, but even those were too advanced for what I should have been doing. And that was a huge realization to me of like, oh shoot, like you like really have to be basic in terms of how you repair your core after having a delivery. And so one thing that I'm a mover, so like stretching is torture to me. Like breath work is like so painful. Like, do you want to torture me? Like, ask me to do breath work.
Trying to picture you in a yoga studio right now.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Okay, no. Okay.
No. I'm like, get me out of here. I'm like, need to go jump or something. And so that is one of my biggest mistakes. I did not do breath work before I started getting into like low grade ab work, and that hurt me.
Breath work.
Yeah.
That basic.
Yeah, like breath work is so imperative. And the other thing, like the first session I really learned, she would teach me how to engage my core properly to move the muscles back together, which was like a mental workout. It was like, did they do that with you too? Where they're like, lay on your back and like, okay, it's like there are two headlights on the sides of your like core, like turn them inward toward one another by like flexing and then I do it. She's like, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, think about like 10 times.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, this is so challenging. Like, I don't even know if it's possible, but once you figure that out or do like a proper Kegel, you know how to like keep doing it. And so those were the biggest helps for me. Highly recommend though. Like it just having that one-on-one experience and like your treatment really tailored to you and your like what your body needs is so critical to just, I don't know, we don't care enough for ourselves, I feel like, in the postpartum period and knowing how to recover from such a baby.
Listening to you talk, like those are your measurables. You've been so good at like really diving into your body and healing and like how to be your strongest and cooking and you just really dive deeper, I think, than the average woman in that. And I really wish that we didn't have to do that on our own.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Because I do, but like part of my checklists every day are like get to the gym, do my pelvic floor therapy exercises. Like I usually do some time with a red light on me, like cook, make sure like we have food for the day. Like it is very much centered around like, exercise, eating healthy, making sure like Vance has what he needs when he gets home to do the same. And I think a lot of that is like, we want to have a lot of kids, God willing.
What's a lot?
If you ask my husband, he'll say 10.
Get out.
Are you serious?
Every time he's asked that question, he's like, 10 sounds good. I'm like, okay. We started a little too late to be able to achieve that. So
also, we love Vance. He's not the one at home. So.
Exactly.
We know their colons will be healthy.
He says 10 because as soon as he walks in the door, Alana's like, ah! And she's so excited and kicking and laughing and like.
He's like, I could get more of this?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Like, exactly.
Okay, so he says 10.
Yes.
You say
I mean, I don't really have a number, like 5+. I'm good with, like, ideally, I think at least 5 is what I would love to have.
I'm like, okay, when you have that many children,
They're gonna be so
time's
fit.
ticking
They're
for
gonna
me.
take over the world.
I'm solidly in my 30s. So like, you know, you kind of do the math and it's like, wow,
yeah.
You know, I do not want 5. I think 2 or 3 is great for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think about having 5 and I'm like, oh my God, you need an Angela brain. Like you need someone who is so about true. The checklists and the metrics and like, yeah. Or that's 10, so like you super need.
Yeah, 10's just not possible unless I'm having a child at like 45 or 50.
Oh just, or if you adopt.
Yeah. Yes, that's which true. Is very much like of interest to us too. I don't know if and when we'll pursue that, but it's definitely on the table.
Hearing women say, oh yeah, I could have 10 kids, that seems terrifying for me personally. Yeah. And then I'm so grateful though that there are women who feel equipped and have the want to have these large, rich, beautiful families. Were there women in your life when you were growing up that modeled just extreme, I don't know, matriarchal energy?
I would say no. I that is not something like super strong in my family, but the person who had the most impact in terms of like being a matriarch or somebody I aspire to be is my grandmother. We called her Baba, which is funny because you guys say really? Baba, right?
Yeah.
And she's an amazing human. She lived next door to us, which was a huge blessing. So my parents like cool. actually bought the land next to my grandparents and like built our house there when like the year I was born. So I've always lived next to my grandmother, and she just modeled like, I don't know how to say it. She just was so content in a beautiful way with what she had. So like she's never somebody who was constantly like wanting the next thing or wanting to travel or like she was so happy in her small ranch home with her family visiting her every weekend for her like soup that was passed down from her grandmother. Like Bubba's soup was always on Saturday, and then Sunday she'd cook dinner for everybody. And myself and my cousins and aunts and uncles would all stop in at some point and like visit her and then eat. And she was just so beyond happy providing those types of things to us. And she like had her like 2 or 3 grocery stores that she'd go to downtown and like within a 15 to 20 minute drive. And she was perfectly happy with that. She didn't want to fly anywhere or go anywhere. She just wanted to go to church every week and get visited by family. And I just want that so badly, to be somebody who doesn't need really anything, but is willing to give fully of herself to her family, to provide, and the ways she did that, she like, you could walk into her house at any time and she'd be so happy. She'd have the biggest smile on her face. She's like, okay, what can I cook for you? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to, like, we would play Nintendo with my grandmother for hours. Like,
that's amazing.
She would play like Tetris or Yoshi and she'd be laughing at like the silliest of things. But her life was just so simple and beautiful and she was so happy. And every day, like, you talk to her, she'd be like, I'm ready when the Lord takes me. Like, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of death. Like, I feel like I've lived my life to my fullest. I'm going to keep being here and providing for you all as I can. And she never expected or wanted anything in return. And like, to live like that every day is just, I don't know, just so beautiful. I feel like that is definitely, she was the model in our lives.
Well, and there are themes there too that just, I hear about them less and less, like the theme of food and gathering, and that being so crucial and just fundamental in your weekly rhythm to bring people together, to do so with ceremony around food. You know, you're parked there to nourish your body. You're nourishing your greater being in community with others. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that filled her up on so many levels. I think about when I'm old, I mean, how incredible would that be? Amazing. Or not even old. We all need that right now. And I have certain friends in my life, and that's how they gather. That's how they show love. And every time I experience it, I'm like, wow, how lucky are all the people in their homes right now to be participating in this.
I used to think it needed to be this incredible meal. Yeah. And that's just like not the stage that I'm at right now with 2 little kids. But just to like provide food, that tastes good or maybe sometimes even doesn't, but like you cooked for these people.
Yeah.
And you're going to invite them in and just nourish them. Like it doesn't have to be fancy. Just going back to what you said about just that simple joy. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't need to be fancy. Your house doesn't need to be cleaned to create that.
No. And if she's making the same soup every Saturday, like maybe you're partially there for the soup, but like you've had the soup before.
It is so good though. Like no one in our family has been able to reproduce it.
I was just gonna ask, is this recipe shareable?
We've tried. Oh yeah, we have the recipe. We even like trained with her. It's wonderful. But going back to what you were saying, Callie, I don't know if this sounds naive, but like the whole community of making food for one another and supporting one another in that way was like a culture shock to me recently. I mean, and I've only been exposed to like, I feel like a community of women that would do things like that recently, like ever since I joined the book club that we're in. But I like ever since leaving my house in high school, like I lived in big cities. That was not ever something that my parents did for other families or vice versa. And so it's all been so foreign to me to understand that like how important that is, like how important it is to provide for other families, how important it is to have a meal train for a mom who just like delivered a baby and we can provide food to their family like that. It's just, that is another metric, I guess, that like has been really fulfilling to me to be like, oh, they need something, like I can cook this for them, or oh, so-and-so like just is like super sick right now. Like
your rules are firing out of both ends. I'm going to bring them soup.
Yeah, exactly. And
magic soup. That we need to post that recipe because it is the most healing soup.
I've heard about this soup like 5
you
times.
Did.
And there is no recipe on my phone from you. I have no recipe yet, so
I'm happy to share it.
Thank you.
It wasn't magical though. It's just from ChatGPT, so you can thank ChatGPT.
They did a great job. It was magical.
ChatGPT is amazing for recipes. Have you guys tried this yet?
That. No.
Oh my gosh. I just recently started doing this, but for instance, I had like a block of cream cheese and heavy whipping cream that was about to go bad.
So
and
smart.
I just typed in there, like, provide me a recipe that includes like a half a block of cream cheese and some heavy whipping cream that also has like chickpea pasta with it or whatever. And it just gives you a recipe that like includes all the ingredients that you have and the ratios you need. It's been
my gosh,
like amazing.
Okay, other than being a wizard with ChatGPT, what other new traits have you gained since becoming a mother?
I'm very happy with cold meals now. Like a cold meal does not. I used to be like a temperature snob. I'm like the person who like reheats their dish because I want it like exactly the right temperature, hot when I eat it. Yeah, there's just you can't do that.
It's a little more flexible.
Yeah.
I'm still inflexible there. And I, for most dishes, I don't love a microwave.
Oh, how do you do it?
In fact, they don't even have one.
Stove.
They don't have a microwave.
I respect you for that. Like, my crunchy mom in me really wants to get rid of my microwave.
I just have a huge aversion to clutter on my horizontal surfaces. Drives me crazy. And frankly, we just don't have the space. And I'm not sacrificing counter space because that'll be part of my mental sanity. So anyways, I'm just impressed that you went from like temperature snob to like, I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, I'm impressed you've been able to keep up with it because I'm like, I just give up. I'm just starving all the time for breastfeeding.
Well, just on the new traits thing, I know we've been talking a lot about measuring metrics, but there's a gap in my brain now between you loving your job. So you in college knew you wanted to be a mom and a wife. Like that was tantamount for you. And then you, between then and now, had a really fulfilling professional life.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened between settling into this new role, feeling like you were really getting your feet under you, having this deep sense of peace, and now choosing not to work?
So the transition was a little wild. The company I was working for, the end game for that company was acquisition. And we always knew, like I knew that when I first joined the company. And so I think I was blessed in many ways because whenever I became pregnant, that's when the acquisition talk really ramped up at our company. And so like I said, my previous boss was amazing. I still stay in touch with her. And so she knew that the baby was coming and she started knocking down my hours before I even had Alana. So as soon as she found out I was pregnant, she was like, I don't want you working more than 35 hours a week. Like, wow. If you even come close to going above 35 hours a week, you need to call me. You're doing too much. Like,
and was this affecting your pay?
No. Okay. No, I was salaried. Wow. No. So she would do that. And then a month or two would go by and she's like, all right, you're like cut off at 30 hours. If you get like, there's nothing that needs to get done at this company that is more important than you figuring out how to like relax and take some time for yourself and take care of yourself while you're pregnant and like get used to the fact that you're not going to have a job to keep you busy all the time. And so she just kept doing that. And it kind of stopped at like the 30-hour mark, but she would always check in and she would know when I was like working more than the 30 hours, like she'd call me. And so that was really helpful, just like getting me to like slow down.
Is she a mom?
I was just a mom of 6. Yeah.
A mom of 6.
A mom of 6 and a COO. She's amazing. Like she's just, yeah.
We need her on.
We do need her on. But also,
honestly, she would totally do this if you want.
She sounds amazing.
She does amazing. Because this is an example through, I mean, multiple things you're saying. I'm like, oh, she's not a boss. She's a leader. Like she straight up knows how to lead and identify strengths. Had you communicated with her that you were going to leave the workforce when you had your baby?
Yeah. And she literally was like, max out that maternity leave and like, don't decide until the very end of it, like what you want to do. So I think I had a long time to process and prepare for the fact that was coming. And I think what also helped is actually 2 months before Alana was born, our company was acquired. And when the takeover happened, they dissolved my entire team.
Oh, wow.
So and it was very unexpected. Like even my previous boss was like, this was not part of our negotiations. Like we did not know that they were just going to completely shut down that entire. So that was a shock. And that was also hard on me for a bit because it wasn't on my terms. Like I wasn't mentally prepared for that. And then I was like, what am I going to do for 2 months before Alana gets here? Like there's no way I'm going to be able to fill my days. And what am I possibly going to do? And now like we have all these loans that we're paying off for between our mortgage and my husband's like medical school loans that we still have. And I'm not contributing to the family. And that was another like panic moment. But it was a lot shorter, I think, because of the previous like instance that I had shared with you guys where I was able to like process it and be like, okay, this is actually probably a good thing. And my husband was amazing. He's like, I was like, I'll get a new job. Like I'll figure out how to bring in income before like she gets here.
I'm 7 months pregnant. I'll totally get a new job right now.
And my husband was
like, I can fit in my suit still.
No, like I don't like why would you do that to yourself? Just like enjoy this time off. You're never going to have a break like this before. And I felt so guilty during those 2 months of like him working really hard in his new job and me just like
growing a human, you know.
Yeah. But view that as a job, which is so silly looking back. But it, like, I remember it was like the day after I was let go, like my team was dissolved, and I drove to my sister-in-law's house, and I literally had the thought of like, I feel guilty spending gas money right now because I'm not bringing in an income like that. And I knew that was ridiculous and crazy, but in that moment, I just couldn't believe that I had lost the job. Crazy. So that was crazy. But that time at home also really, I think, helped me prepare myself for making the transition I was about to make. Like, it turned out being a huge blessing. So that was good. And then I like found ways to fill my time super easily. I don't know. I was just worried I'd be sitting at home and bored and like being like watching TV or something, which is not something I don't do on my own. Like, I never watch TV on my own. So I was like, how am I possibly going to stay busy? But then I was like, oh, I'll just like take a Bradley method course because I really wanted to have a natural birth. So that filled up a ton of time. And I'm like, oh, well, I can do that. I just found so many things that I could keep myself busy and like continue learning. And I think that time was part of the transition period for sure, that I could like actually work on slowing down and focusing on things at home and getting used to that before the time human came into play and I had to do all of that and keep someone alive. So,
right. Yeah. And you are so, I mean, you just show up for your tribe. It's funny when you said that was foreign to you, you know, like being part of this community. That was shocking to me because it just seems so natural to you.
I think it's because it was something I didn't know I always wanted. Like, like it's been so fulfilling to me to have the friend group here that I have that like also shares from a like faith standpoint, like the same foundation. I've never had friendships like that in my entire life. And so I think now that I've like had that exposure, I just like, I'm like, I can't let this go. Like, I'll do like whatever it takes to like keep you guys around. But this is like, just like,
I'll bring you magic soup every day.
Exactly. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I slipped that norovirus to you so that I could. No, I'm just kidding. It's always been something I've yearned for and looked for, but I've never been able to find until I came up here. And so I think that's maybe why it seems so natural, because I'm just so excited about it.
I love it. Yeah, it's amazing. Are there any other things that future mothers should know that we don't talk about?
My biggest aha moment having the first child, and that we talked about this a little bit earlier, is that like postpartum is really important, and your recovery is like something you really need to like take time to learn about and focus on. Mm-hmm. Because like I was prepared for labor. Like, I was so prepared for like fertility because we had such trouble, my husband and I, like getting pregnant for the first time. So I like did a ton of reading, and I knew how to like eat in accordance with my menstrual cycle, and like what are the things that I should be doing to like promote my fertility and his fertility. So like that I had locked down. And then it went to like pregnancy, like, okay, how do I change the way I'm working out and eating and et cetera to like keep me healthy throughout that window. And then labor was next. And I did a ton of research on like natural childbirth because I really just wanted to do it without medication. That was my goal. And so I was prepared. I like knew the different phases of labor and what to expect and what each of those would look like. And like, if this happened, what I should look out for. And then I had Alana, and I read the first 40 days. So I had the first 40 days covered. And then after that, I was like, there's a lot like that I need to be.
In fact, the rest of my life.
Like, yeah, like I missed this part of the thing that I should be doing research on, which is probably one of the more critical things I should be doing research on compared to all the other phases. And so I think like the intensity of that is something that like was a shock to me. Mm-hmm. Like how much you have to care for this baby who's 100% dependent on you, but also like you are trying to recover. You're trying to understand like what your body's telling you in various instances of like just moving or with breastfeeding and the like, which is beautiful but painful for a long period of time. And then like, what are these pains that I'm having during intercourse with my husband that like I didn't know were a thing? And then how do I get my abs to grow back together? And like what methods are safe in doing so? Like all of these things are just things I didn't realize were coming. And then the physical change, I would say, of like our bodies and how that, like I knew and expected that during pregnancy. But during postpartum, I don't think I was ready for like some things to just stay. Like there are just elements of my body that are forever changed. Like I had to get rid of like half of the dresses in my wardrobe simply because like my rib cage is larger now than it was before and it's never going back. And like every time something new like that would like come to realization, it was like a punch in the face. Like it just would like knock me down. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is another thing I didn't see coming. And it just, I think that's something to just know going into it, that those changes are going to be there and you're going to have to take the hits when they come and know that they're like, they are for good. Like they are for good because you have a child, like a beautiful human being that is yours, that you brought into this world, that you can love and care for now. But it definitely is hard when like you're physically and mentally forever changed as a result. And a lot of those changes were unexpected to me.
I have two questions. The first is, when you say all these changes are for good, like in that moment, you've just been punched in the face by this new change. Just what does your self-talk look like? How do you turn yourself from, God, this is the worst, it's unexpected, I feel sucker punched, and how do you turn that into, but it's for good? That's number one. Number two is, because you are so driven to research and like better your knowledge and find all the resources available to you, I'm curious if any were helpful during this time, if you found any really good resources that mom should know about, if there was a complete lack thereof. Let's talk about that.
The first part, I think this is like very basic, but I usually just like snuggle my daughter. Like I just like hold her like really close, and she's at that age now where like if you put your like, if you like nuzzle her, she'll like kiss your face, but kissing is just like sucking on your nose and it's disgusting, but it's so cute. But like I usually like grab her as a reminder, but my husband has been like huge. Sorry, wow, I'm probably gonna like cry talking about that.
That's all right, we do it all the time now.
He's just like an amazing reminder of like it's all worth it. Some of the things that help me most are I'll go to him in those moments, and like he always finds the right words to like help me understand like, well, of course you've changed, like, but that's a beautiful thing. He's found some amazing ways to just like to knock me out of those types of thoughts really fast. Like they'll be literally 2 nights ago, we like laid down for bed and he like looked over me and like he just like grabbed me and cuddled me. It was like, thank you for taking care of our daughter. Like I'm so thankful for you and all that you do for our family. And those moments that just like come out of nowhere, he just like plants those so well that like those moments I can get past because I think of what he said or reminded me of, and it really just like awakens me to like, oh yeah, like there's a greater purpose here. Like what, the fact that this dress doesn't fit me anymore, like who cares? Like it really doesn't matter. But it is hard in the moment when you're scrambling to go to like your husband's work Christmas party and you had planned to wear this dress and you're like, oh, that dress is totally going to fit. And then you go to put it on and it doesn't. And then you end up wearing this like not so nice cotton maternity dress when you're not pregnant anymore to the set of it.
Yes.
Like it's
We've all been
horrible.
there.
Yeah, but
it's humbling to say the least.
Yeah, it is humbling. And I think he's been my greatest strength through all of this. So for me, that I would say that has been the biggest thing to snap me out of those moments. I did go to like a therapist for quite some time, and I started therapy with her before Alana got here, purposefully knowing that I was going to have some body image struggles, because when I was young, I was hospitalized for anorexia. And so that's been something I've carried with me until now. And I've never faced it. It took Alana coming for me to like finally face it. Like I basically got myself out of the hospital situation when I was young. It was like, I will do whatever it takes to never go back to the hospital, but I never actually worked on healing like the thoughts in my head that I was constantly battling day to day. And over time, over the years, I got better, but I plateaued. I would say Vance helped a lot, just going on date nights and stuff, but I had plateaued. And so before Alana was here, I was like, I have to figure this out. I can't act in ways that it's going to like instill similar thoughts in her mind one day. Like, and so going before she arrived and then continuing after for a few months was really, really helpful. And like, I've made strides in that area way beyond I ever imagined I could after living with it for so many years. But like seeking professional help was really a really good thing to do, to just talk through. And we didn't even focus a ton on postpartum specifically. It's more just like day to day, these are things that I'm just like beyond overwhelmed with, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. And talking through that with somebody was really, really helpful.
What a gift to yourself, but like your daughter to know, I mean, to do that hard work. That's not easy.
Thank you. Yeah, I've tried. Some of the things, Callie, like that you and I have been reading with Emily, the other Emily Swanson, but like
so many.
One of so many Emily's.
Like The Grace of Enough.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. So that was something that like, it's really focused on like building your home life without like getting sucked into the go culture of today, and like be very mindful of the moments that you create with your family and what they are like and how they are shaped. What I like, the goals for my family are countercultural, and it's going to be hard to do that, I think, with like a husband who's in the medical field who like is going to like bring work home on a computer every single day. And so like, how do I navigate a life of having computers and TVs and stuff in the house, but not making them the focus or the crutch day to day, and like ways that I can create opportunities for our child to like learn and grow and be curious and creative without those things. Those are the types of books I've been gravitating toward to like prepare me for what's to come. And also like, how can I create, I don't know, I don't want to say rules, but like things that like we abide by in our home in terms of how we're going to raise our kids. Because a lot of the reading I've done, the Montessori Baby, that was also great. That book I would highly recommend too, because it's like, what are the foundational mechanisms you want to have in place in your home that cultivate a really good future for your kids. And it sparked a lot of conversations between Vance and I, where we've where I'm like, okay, what are your thoughts on like a phone at the dinner table when we go out to eat? Like, what are we going to want to do? Like, what is the balance we want to have? Is it going to be like, we'll always let that happen? If we're having a tough time with the kids, we'll never let that happen. Is it somewhere in between? And so I feel like all of this exposure to like through the Grace of Enough or the Montessori toddler or things like that has like really helped me understand like what are the decisions we're going to have to make pretty darn soon in terms of like our future and how we want to raise our kids. And so that's been really helpful. Like I'm feeling a little bit more prepared now for like the next step where I won't like hit a wall like I did before, where I have a baby and I'm like, what do I do?
Well, that's the great thing about babies is like they kind of don't let you do that because they're always going to be there. You know?
Yeah, they're always going to be there, and you just figure it out as you go.
So true. So our closing question for you, what makes you feel beautiful or valued as a woman?
Definitely. I feel like I shouldn't have talked about what Vance said earlier, but
I didn't even ask her. I felt like perfect. I felt like she answered.
Those moments with Vance they're it. Like they just lift me up in ways I never knew I could. They make me feel really beautiful. I need someone else to remind me that I'm beautiful. And so I think those moments where like we're all three together and Alana is smiling at me and he's just like affirming what I'm feeling, that sometimes you might like second guess because you don't believe, like, oh, is she really truly happy and smiling at me? Like, am I the cause of this? Am I not? But like just hearing from him, like, look at how much she loves you. It just, it means the world. It really does.
So stinking cute.
I know. I know.
And that is not him. Like, he's like just a jokester. He's a poop doctor. So having those moments just like strike me. I think also because we've been together so many years. We didn't get married until our 7th or 8th year dating together. And so he's never been that type of person. But as soon as Alana came, like so many little things like that have changed that are just really beautiful. And so they hit you hard when they come.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that moms don't talk about enough. Like when you're in a strong partnership and you start your family, there are a lot of hard things to go through with your spouse. But again, if you're in a strong partnership, I think the way these men look at us and love us and respond to this new thing in our life is so powerful. Like I wouldn't give that up for anything in my marriage.
No, it's only made the marriage more beautiful and stronger in many ways.
Love. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
so
much.
Go snuggle that baby.
Yes.
Will do.
Or maybe get yourself a coffee. Get your nails done, then go snuggle baby.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's going to be very ready for a nap by the time we get to Sam's house. So I should probably go rescue her. Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Angela.
Bye. Thank you both.
You've been listening to The Real Mom Hub. Our music is by Naomi O'Leary. You can find us on social at The Real Mom Hub. We're not the authority or even very educated on the medical issues discussed. Do your own research, talk to an expert, make your own decisions, and call us if you learn anything new.
If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram, or better yet, subscribe to our newsletter. If you don't, that's fine. We can all move on. Our purpose here is community, so if we've resonated with you, tell a friend.
Thanks for listening.